Hello everyone and welcome to South News. I'm Afaf Kanja. We're on location in Antigua and Barbuda, and I'm honored to be sitting here with the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Mr. Baldwin Spencer. It's so great to be here in Antigua and Barbuda. It's so wonderful to see you again. Thank you so much. Prime Minister, we've just witnessed firsthand, in action, public and private partnership. What does this mean, the World Ahead program, in collaboration with Antigua and Barbuda? What does this mean for the future of the citizens of Antigua and Barbuda in the long term?
It means a great deal because clearly in order for us to achieve our goals on the Millennium Development Goals, for instance, there's no getting away from private-public partnerships, and we believe that it is fundamental for the growth and development of small developing states like Antigua and Barbuda, where we can develop these synergies. And we're particularly pleased with the work South News is doing in this regard, promoting this idea. So we are absolutely thrilled over the idea that South News is in Antigua and Barbuda today, advancing this cause for the development of people and using the mechanism of private-public partnerships to do that.
Absolutely. And you did mention, and thank you for doing so, South News, and it's such an honor again to be here. But what do you see the role of media in the large scale to help impact, to help build awareness for the Millennium Development Goals, for a country's recovery in general? What do you think in terms of the importance of that?
The media plays a very, very important role. Of course, the media can be an instrument of good or bad, depending on how that pans out. But I would want to think, for the purposes of development and for ensuring that the message goes out in a positive way and the galvanizing of people around a set of goals and objectives, then the media plays a pivotal and critical role. And so we consider the media as an integral part of the development thrust. And quite frankly, the media is a partner in development.
Last year, during the Millennium Development Goals Summit, you called on the international community to not forget developing countries like Antigua and Barbuda. What has been the response from the international community, and what have you seen so far in progress toward the achievement of the Millennium Development Goals with partners?
Yes, well, I think for the purposes of what has been transpiring worldwide over the past year, 2-3 years, where the financial crisis has affected all of us, obviously the call that I made was relevant then, and it is still relevant now, because there could be said to be a mixed reviews in terms of what would have transpired. For us, small, developing, vulnerable states, I have to admit that very little has been done in the way of really addressing the fundamentals as they relate to small developing states. However, we're beginning to see a sense of urgency being articulated at the level of the developed countries, and we are hoping that something tangible will be done to assist small island developing states as we seek to come to terms with the Millennium Development Goals. I think real efforts are being made at our level, but the resources are not there, whether they're human or otherwise, and we need to have that kind of cooperation coming from developed countries for us to be able to be on target to achieve those Millennium Development Goals.
Give us some specifics. Where is Antigua and Barbuda on target, for example, education like we saw today, and where do you need some action from partners, from the international communities, NGOs, on other initiatives to achieve the Millennium Development Goals?
Let us take, for instance, the question of education. Every effort is being made by this administration, and we have placed a premium or major priority on the whole question of education. We have sought to make more tertiary education available to ordinary citizens of Antigua and Barbuda through various programs that we have developed. We have now reached a point where universal secondary education is in place. We started off with universal primary education. Now we have gone to secondary. And as I said, we are moving towards ensuring that more opportunities are made available for tertiary education. So on the area of education, we are on track with respect to the development goals. And even with that, early childhood education is not being left out either. We have reorganized, restructured that, and we have ensured that at the national level, what is happening with early childhood education is a matter of concern and priority for the government. So they have been brought fully into the system in terms of the delivery of services. When you take the whole issue of health, we have done quite a number of things in ensuring that we improve significantly the health situation in Antigua and Barbuda. We have established a number of clinics all over the island, and to ensure that we deliver health services at the doorsteps of the people. Now, all these things require resources, which we really do not have. But with the little that we have, and with the support, hopefully from the international community and friendly governments and so on, we're able to buttress what we're doing with our limited resources to make these deliveries. I don't think that we are fully on track in terms of where we are, but we are getting there. And we believe that if there is a greater degree of cooperation and a partnership between the developing countries and the developed countries, we should be able to achieve these objectives. Generally, as far as the economic situation is concerned, we have to view this against the backdrop of what is happening worldwide with the global economic situation. But despite that, we are making our own efforts to come to terms with the difficulties, and at least to try to cushion the impact of the world economic crisis by the government intervening as best as it can to ensure that the most vulnerable in our society is not left totally behind. And so we have put together what we call a package of our social agenda reflects that in the field of health, in the field of education, in the field of ensuring that the elderly, for instance, are taken care of by some of the programs we have been able to introduce. So we have a very strong social agenda, which is very much in keeping with the Millennium Development Goals, where you are ensuring that you narrow the gap that's there and that you bring the most vulnerable out of that state of vulnerability and to get them on a leveler path.